Eisenhower answers America.
The Democrats have made mistakes, but aren't their intentions good?
Well, if the driver of your school bus runs into a truck, hits a lamppost, drives into a ditch, you don't say his intentions are good. You get a new bus driver.
Step right up, folks. See the mental marvel of the campaign, Mr. McGOP. He promises to solve all your problems. Ask him any question.
What about Korea?
We don't belong in Korea. Let the commies have it. We should expand the war. Open a second front in China.
Wait a minute. We can't do both. We can't pull our troops out of Korea and invade China.
Go away, lady. You bother me. Any more questions?
At the same press conference, President Eisenhower said,
"No one can make a decision except me.
and as for any major ideas from Mr. Nixon,
If you give me a week, I might think of one. I don't remember."
President Eisenhower could not remember, but the voters will remember. For real leadership in the 60s, help elect Senator John F. Kennedy president.
8, 9,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
These are the stakes. To make a world in which all of God's children can live.
Vote for President Johnson on November 3rd. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
How can a party that can't unite itself unite the nation? How can a party that can't keep order in its own backyard hope to keep order in our 50 states?
This is about secrecy. This is about stealing. This is about hidden funds. This is about deception. This is about the White House. And this is how you stop it. With your vote.
I just can't imagine him being president. It's too complex a job.
When I go into the polling booth on November 4th, I'm not just going to think of the politics. I got to think of my family.
Two men are the real contenders for the presidency today. The people of California remember one of them quite well.
Ronald Reagan is not a man that I would want leading our country for any period of time.
I deeply, deeply resent and am offended by the attacks that President Carter has made on my husband, the personal attacks that he's made on my husband. He is not a warmonger. He is not a man who is going to throw the elderly out on the street and cut out their Social Security. That's a terrible thing to do and to say about anybody. That's campaigning on fear.
Now Ronald Reagan says the economy is moving up. It is, up on a mountain of debt and record Reagan deficits, more borrowing than all the other presidents in history combined. That'll drive interest rates up, slow the economy down, and then, if you're thinking of voting for Ronald Reagan in 1984, think of what'll happen in 1985.
Add 26 cents to a loaf of bread if Mondale's inflation continued. Add 34 cents to milk. $1.28 to a pound of bacon. If that doesn't convince you to vote for President Reagan, stop off at the gas station and imagine paying $2.27 a gallon.
Dukakis opposed the stealth bomber and a ground emergency warning system against nuclear attack. He even criticized our rescue mission to Grenada and our strike on Libya. And now he wants to be our commander-in-chief. America can't afford that risk.
Hey, pal, how about a couple $100 billion? I'll pay you right back.
This is what the Republicans call managing the economy.
Hey, pal, $500 billion, just to kind of get me over the hump.
They should call it mortgaging our children's future.
He says he wouldn't rule out term limits, while he says he's personally opposed to term limits. This candidate was called up for military service, while this one claims he wasn't. One of these candidates is Bill Clinton. Unfortunately, so is the other.
The George Bush promise.
Read my lips. No
Then he gave us the second biggest tax increase in American history. Bush increased the gas tax by 56%. Can we afford 4 more years? Bill Clinton, a different kind of Democrat.
Bill Clinton never took the drug crisis seriously.
If you had it to do over again, would you inhale?
Sure, if I could. I tried before.
You know the result. Under Clinton's liberal policies, teen drug use has doubled. But now Clinton admits he was wrong.
I wish I'd never done any of that, although I did such a little bit, but it was wrong.
Kerry voted for the Iraq War, opposed it, supported it, and now opposes it again. He bragged about voting for the $87 billion to support our troops before he voted against it. He voted for education reform and now opposes it. He claims he's against increasing Medicare premiums, but voted 5 times to do so. John Kerry, whichever way the wind blows.
1,000 U.S. casualties. 2 Americans beheaded just this week. The Pentagon admits terrorists are pouring into Iraq. In the face of the Iraq quagmire, George Bush's answer is to run a juvenile and tasteless attack ad. John Kerry has a plan for success.
He's the biggest celebrity in the world. But is he ready to lead? With gas prices soaring, Barack Obama says no to offshore drilling and says he'll raise taxes on electricity.
Wonder where John McCain would take the economy? Look behind you. John McCain wants to continue George Bush's economic policies. As president, he'd provide no tax breaks to 101 million Americans, but keep tax breaks for companies that ship our jobs overseas.
But on July 12th, President Obama quietly announced a plan to gut welfare reform by dropping work requirements. Under Obama's plan, you wouldn't have to work and wouldn't have to train for a job. They just send you your welfare check. And welfare to work goes back to being plain old welfare. Mitt Romney will restore the work requirement because it works.
You work hard, stretch every penny, but chances are you pay a higher tax rate than him. Mitt Romney made $20 million in 2010, but paid only 14% in taxes, probably less than you. Now he has a plan that would give millionaires another tax break.